Welcome everyone to another Warframe video, and this is about how certain elements can disrupt Nekros' Desecrate ability. What I mean by this is a bunch of the elements you can use will kill enemies fairly quickly, quicker than other elements will, and will disrupt Nekros' Desecrate because it requires dead bodies to be on the floor, and some of the elements get rid of the dead bodies much faster. To show you what I mean, I'll just go to the one of the really early Void missions, Teshub, and show you with some of the weapons I've brought with certain kind of statuses and elements. Like I've increased the status on my Angstrom, which is a rocket launcher pistol, by a lot, to show you what I mean. Because it has one of the elements that makes it a bit bad for Nekros to desecrate: blast damage. Blast damage, I'm pretty sure in the past, used to just knock enemies down and ragdoll them. But now, it also makes them just disintegrate. Like there, you've seen with that guy, he just turned orange and went away. That guy too. And if I use Desecrate, it only really works on enemies that actually leave bodies on the floor. Like if I just collect some energy here, it must not be working because I don't have it on. Yeah, there, as you can see, the enemies that actually leave bodies will actually be desecrated, but the other enemies won't. Whereas if I use my Bracken Prime here, it will work much better on all these enemies because it doesn't have an element that disintegrates bodies. This Bracken Prime here only has slash damage and gas damage, and they work very well because gas damage, what that will do is that will just sometimes create a gas cloud in an enemy which pulses gas damage that other enemies get damaged by. It doesn't actually disintegrate them in any way. Whereas, for example, Corrosive is also a little bit bad for doing Desecrate because it will make the enemy kind of, well, corrode and swell up into a horrid goo ball and then disappear. Same with Fire, and also it's the same with pure just heat. It will burn the bodies very quickly. So Ember is not the best actually to pair with Nekros when you want to just desecrate everything. And if you're wondering what Desecrate actually does, and do a YouTube Warframe or something like that, and you want to know more about Nekros, it makes the enemies drop more loot, but it's also very useful in survival missions because it will make the enemies drop more life support. Because in survival missions, your life support is constantly going down because the enemy has made like a vacuum on the ship and all their soldiers have personal life support. And Nekros allows you to get more life support, which means he's great for those kind of missions, but it won't be as great if you don't include that type of element. Just keep in mind that not all of the elements, like some of the elements are actually very good for killing these type of enemies. For example, Corrosive is great against Corrupted because they have a lot of armor. But the bad thing about it is that, as I said before, it just gets rid of the bodies. Whereas Magnetic is only really good against Corpus, but it's one of the better elements for Desecrate because it will only because it won't get rid of the bodies. It will just make them get a disoriented effect and lower their shields. Same with Radiation. It makes all the enemies attack each other, but won't actually get rid of the bodies. I'm pretty sure that's pretty much all the elements. I may have missed one or two. Oh yeah, also all the base elements don't affect Desecrate at all. What I'm talking about is Slash, Puncture, and Impact. Impact just, well, I'm not sure if the new update's out by now, but all it will do is ragdoll enemies. Puncture will reduce their damage, and Slash will sometimes cut them in half. But the good thing about Nekros is it doesn't matter. As you can see here, there can be, well, all the bodies have just started disappearing, but yeah, as you can see there was half a body on the floor, yet I was still able to desecrate it, so it really doesn't matter. And there you can see one of the enemies turn green, indicating that they were affected by the gas proc, yet their body didn't disappear. So yeah, so that's pretty much all I wanted to tell you for this video. I hope it helps and just lets you know about this one little quirk. Oh, by the way, the same thing is also effective for Avara, because Avara, I haven't used it too much, but one of the abilities allows you to gain loot in some way. I'm pretty sure it's some kind of pickpocket ability, and that ability also doesn't work very well because obviously you need to pickpocket an enemy that's around, and if you've either burnt them to nothingness or one of the many other elements, like just blasting and smithereens with blast, they obviously won't be around for you to pickpocket. So yeah, I hope you found this video useful and now know some of the little quirks about Nekros and Ivara. Hope you enjoyed watching as well, and bye.